You ever find yourself staring at your life like it's some Netflix drama that skips straight to the part where everything falls apart? Because that's where I'm at. Let me be clear, I'm not the villain in my own head. I never thought I was doing anything wrong. Not really. I mean, yeah, I said some things I shouldn't have. Said them to the wrong person at the wrong time. Or maybe just loud enough for my husband to hear while walking past the bathroom. But come on, don't act like you've never vented before. We all do it. You get with your girls, you talk. You're honest in ways you can't be with anyone else. And in that moment, it felt like harmless girl talk. Just a little unloading. I didn't know it would blow my whole world up. Anyway, I guess I should rewind and start at the beginning. Because once you hear my side, maybe you won't judge me as hard. Or maybe you will. I don't really care at this point. My name's Alana. I'm 27. And yeah, I got married. It wasn't some fairy tale. It wasn't butterflies and soulmates and the stars aligning. It was practical. Eric, my husband, ex-husband now, I guess. He was the type of man women are told to be thankful for. Reliable, kind, safe. He paid for everything, handled the bills, made sure I was good, always asked if I needed anything. And I appreciated it, at first. But there's this thing no one tells you about settling, about marrying the guy who checks boxes instead of the one who sets your soul on fire. It starts slow, the resentment. You wake up next to him and realize you don't feel anything. You see other women with men who make them giggle like schoolgirls, and you think, did I miss out? And then that tiny toxic voice inside says, you could have done better. And once that thought plants itself, it grows like a damn weed. I never hated Eric, but I didn't love him either. Not in the way a woman's supposed to. We got married after just over a year of dating. My lease was ending, I hated my job, and Eric made me feel taken care of. He was already talking about the future, kids, buying a home, me staying at home if I wanted. It was easy to say yes, but yes came with baggage. Because deep down, I knew he wasn't my dream guy. He was the guy who picked me. And at that time in my life, I needed to be picked. And if I'm being real, I always kind of felt like he was just there. Like if he was taken away tomorrow, I wouldn't fall apart. That's not love. That's convenience. But hey, security is seductive, especially when you've dated a string of losers, liars, and commitment phobes. Fast forward 6 months into the marriage. Eric's working late. I'm at home in the apartment he pays for, watching TikToks and sipping rosé. My phone buzzes. It's Leia, my best friend since high school. She's going through it with her new boyfriend, some gym bro with a god complex and a studio apartment that smells like protein powder. She's crying, saying she thinks he's cheating, asking me if she should stay with him. And that's when I said it. The words I didn't even mean to say. Sweetie, remember, it's your choice. Don't settle for just anyone. That's the mistake I made. Who knows who else I could have had? Eric was my last resort. And look where it got me. It felt so casual, like exhaling. And then I heard it, the creak of the hallway floorboard. I froze, my heart hit the brakes, and my stomach did a backflip. I turned and saw the bathroom light flick off. Eric walked into the bedroom without saying a word. I felt ice crawl across my chest. Did he hear? Number, no way. I told myself he didn't. Maybe he didn't. Maybe I imagined it. But the next day at breakfast, he looked at me different. He didn't kiss my forehead, didn't ask if I wanted eggs or just toast. Just sat there quiet, sipping coffee like it was war fuel. That's when he said we needed to talk. That conversation was a blur. He said he knew, that he heard everything, that my Reddit post made the front page. My knees buckled. I had no clue he'd seen the post. I'd been dumb enough to write a vent piece on a throwaway account. Some dumb impulsive brain dump about how I felt trapped and unsure, and like I chose comfort over chemistry. Guess Reddit karma really does bite. The tears came instantly. Not because I was sorry, but because I was caught. There's a difference. I didn't mean it, I lied. I was joking, I added. I love you, I begged. He wasn't buying it, and that's when he said the words I'll never forget. I can't stay married to someone who doesn't love me the way I love them. My mouth dried up. No matter what I said, it didn't matter. He'd already made up his mind. I saw it in his eyes, that dead, sunken look, like someone had reached into his chest and yanked out the last bit of hope. And then, when the begging didn't work, the rage kicked in. There's something primal that happens when you realize you're losing your grip. The soft girl act, gone. The tears, dried up. All that desperation curdles into something mean, sharp. I don't even remember standing up from the couch. One second I was pleading with Eric, and the next I was yelling, screaming, really. You think you're the only man on earth? You think no one else would want me? He just sat there calm, like he'd expected it. Like the switch from teary-eyed to unhinged was inevitable. You think you'll find someone better than me, as good as me? And even as I said it, a voice deep in my gut whispered, that's exactly what he's about to do. I hated how calm he was. Like he'd already detached. Like the strings had been cut, and he was floating away while I was still drowning. I gave you everything I had, I snapped. And he said, you gave me your leftovers. I don't know why that hit so hard. It was like being slapped with the truth I'd been hiding even from myself. Because deep down, I knew I hadn't brought my best self to this marriage. I brought my tired self, my disappointed self, the version of me that had tried and failed with other men and finally said, fine, he'll do. That's what Eric was, he'll do. And now he didn't want to do anymore. I left, slammed the door like I was the victim, stormed out of that apartment like I was walking out of a movie scene. Dramatic exit. Hair still a mess, slippers on, no plan, just anger and adrenaline. I sat in my car shaking, not crying, just rattling with 1,000 emotions I didn't have words for. I texted Leah. He knows. That's all I wrote. She called right away. I let it ring. I didn't want to hear her tell me I messed up. I already knew. I didn't need backup vocals to my guilt. The worst part? I wasn't even sure I wanted him back. Isn't that sick? I wanted him to want me, but I didn't want him. I wanted the safety, the image, the version of me that felt stable and married and not alone at 27 when everyone else on Instagram was posting honeymoon pics and gender reveals. I didn't love him, but I loved what he did for me. And now all of that was slipping through my fingers like sand. 2 days passed before I dared to go back. I told myself I was going to grab some things, talk it out, maybe spin the story into something salvageable. But when I walked into the apartment, I saw the black trash bags, 4 of them, all lined up by the door like my life was on the curb. He was sitting at the kitchen counter with his laptop, calm, composed, distant. Hey, I started. He didn't look up. Eric, please, can we talk? Still nothing. I took a step closer. You're really going to throw away everything we built over one conversation? That got him. He closed the laptop, looked me straight in the eyes. We didn't build anything. I built it. You moved in. Oof. The shame came fast and hard. I tried to speak. Couldn't. My throat locked up. Not from tears, from the weight of what I'd done. And he kept going. You were never in this with me. Not really. You just wanted the lifestyle, the wedding, the title. That's not fair, I whispered. Fair? You said I was your last resort. You warned your friend not to end up like you. And now I'm supposed to keep pretending we're happy? I couldn't look at him. I was venting. You were being honest. Silence. Do you even know what it's like to actually love someone who doesn't love you back? I didn't answer. Because I did. I knew exactly what that felt like. Back when I was 22, head over heels for a man who barely remembered my birthday, I cried myself to sleep more nights than I could count, praying he'd change. He never did, and now here I was. the one doing the gutting, the one twisting the knife. He offered to help carry the bags down to my car. I declined. Pride is a funny thing. It doesn't show up when you're doing something terrible, but it pops out the second you're humiliated. I walked out with those trash bags like they were body bags. And in a way, they were. The corpse of my marriage, packed in zippered vinyl. I slept at Leah's that night. She didn't say much, just made me tea and let me cry. The next day, I saw the prenup. Neatly printed, signed, notarized, binding. Eric wasn't playing. I had nothing. He owned the apartment, paid for the car, the furniture, even the freaking blender. All mine was the clothes in those bags, and the embarrassment I couldn't shake. No alimony, no second chance. Just goodbye. I tried calling him 3 times, texted 7, all left on red. He'd already started the annulment paperwork. California makes it easy if you're under 6 months in and have no shared assets or kids. It was like I never existed. You think you're unforgettable until someone deletes you like a bad app. So now here I am, sitting on the floor of Leah's guest room, staring at a blank screen, trying to figure out what to do with the rest of my life, trying to figure out when exactly I became the villain, and wondering if maybe, just maybe, Eric wasn't my last resort. Maybe I was his. There's this moment after the storm where everything is too quiet. No texts, no notifications, just stillness. It's the part no one talks about. What happens when the drama ends and real life resumes, and you're left with the mess you made? I was sleeping in Leah's guest room, surrounded by IKEA furniture and shame. She tried to distract me, took me out for tacos, dragged me to a yoga class I didn't want to be in. I couldn't focus. My head was still at that kitchen counter, still seeing Eric's eyes when he told me he knew, still hearing the way he said, "You gave me your leftovers." That sentence haunted me because it was true. I started thinking about our wedding, the day I put on that ivory dress and smiled for the cameras and lied to everyone, including myself. I remember the vows, how Eric looked at me like I was his entire world. Meanwhile, I was scanning the crowd for my ex, wondering if he regretted letting me go. That should have been a red flag, but I pushed it down, buried it under layers of white roses, matching monogram napkins, and a perfectly curated Instagram reel. And now, what did I have? Nothing. Not even a shred of dignity. Leah sat me down a few days later. She had that best friend about to give you tough love look on her face, arms folded, no makeup, sipping her coffee like she was bracing for impact. "You need to stop playing the victim, Alana." I blinked. "Excuse me? You blew it. You know that. He didn't cheat. He didn't abuse you. He didn't neglect you. He worshipped you, and you spit in his face." I wanted to lash out, say something mean, flip the script. Instead, I sat there, quiet. You can either keep blaming everyone else for why you're miserable, or you can finally look in the damn mirror and ask why you're never happy no matter what you get. That hit me harder than Eric's silence ever did. Because deep down, I've always known it wasn't about him. It was about me. My whole life, I've been chasing the next thing. The hotter guy, the better apartment, the more flattering validation. Never satisfied. Always moving the goalpost. Eric was safe, but safety bored me. I thought I wanted excitement, passion, unpredictability. But all that ever got me was late night crying and men who used me up and ghosted me. So when someone finally stayed, when someone chose me, I didn't cherish it, I mocked it, I mocked him. I scrolled through our old photos the next night. The way he used to hold me, the look in his eyes, pure, unfiltered love. Not obsession, not lust, not some game of power, just love. And I didn't recognize the girl in those photos anymore. She looked happy, content, like she believed she deserved something good. What happened to her? Oh, right. I happened. 1 week passed. Then 2. No contact. I stopped trying to text him, stopped checking if he'd unblocked me. I knew he was gone. Not physically. I could probably show up at the apartment if I wanted to be humiliated further, but emotionally, spiritually, he'd buried me. I started therapy. Leah made the call for me, told me she'd cover the first few sessions until I got back on my feet. At first, I hated it. I rolled my eyes through most of the first meeting. But then the therapist asked me one question that cracked me open. Why do you think you don't deserve to be loved without earning it? I didn't have an answer. Turns out, I'd been performing my whole life, trying to be the prettiest, the smartest, the most desirable. Everything was a role, a costume I wore to be picked, chosen, validated. Eric didn't ask me to perform, he just loved me. And I didn't know what to do with that. It scared me. Because if someone loves you without conditions, and you still feel empty, then maybe the problem isn't them. Maybe it's you. I got a job waitressing again. Humbling. Not what I imagined 6 months after my fairy tale wedding, but I needed the reset. No more luxury apartment. No more credit card he paid for. Just tips and tired feet and long shifts that kept my mind off what I'd lost. Funny how the girl who used to laugh at women working double shifts now was one. Life's poetic like that. Then, one night, it happened. A couple walked into the restaurant. Newlyweds, maybe. She was holding his arm. He was looking at her like Eric used to look at me. It hit me like a freight train. I excused myself mid-order, ran to the back, and cried. Not because I missed Eric, but because I'd never have that again. With him, I killed it. With one stupid phone call, I destroyed the one person who saw the best in me when I didn't even see it in myself. I wanted to call him just to say thank you. Thank you for loving me when I didn't make it easy. Thank you for showing me what it looks like to show up every day without conditions. But I knew I didn't deserve to say that. I forfeited that right the moment I chose to say, he was my last resort. It's funny how you don't realize what you had until it's gone. No? Scratch that. It's not funny. It's cruel. Every day I woke up with Eric, I saw him as ordinary, predictable, reliable. He made the bed, packed his lunch, kissed my cheek before work, and always texted me at noon to ask if I'd eaten. I used to roll my eyes at how routine he was. Now I'd kill to hear my phone buzz at noon just to see lunch pop up on the screen. But he's gone, not ghosting. No, he made it clear. He's not hiding. He's just done. And honestly, I don't blame him. I've had time to reflect, really reflect. My therapist, Camille, made me sit down and write out all the men I ever chased, every guy I cried over, every dude I wanted more from. I filled the page with names and memories and patterns. You know what every single one had in common? They gave me nothing. Not consistency, not kindness, not love. Some gave me attention. Some gave me lust. A few gave me fancy dinners and compliments that made me feel like the baddest chick in the room. But they all took more than they gave. And I let them. I worshiped the ones who discarded me and discarded the one who worshiped me. Eric didn't come with drama, and I think I mistook that for weakness. I thought love was supposed to be chaos, fireworks, push and pull, fights and make-up sex and stormy passion. But real love, it's peaceful. It's choosing someone every day without needing a reason. Eric did that. I didn't. I started writing a letter. Not to send, just to say what needed to be said. Here's part of it. Eric, I never gave you the love you deserved. Not once. You gave me a home, a life, stability, and I returned it with lukewarm affection and quiet resentment. You didn't fail me. I failed you. You deserve someone who saw your effort and said, thank you. Someone who met you halfway. Someone who didn't look back at exes and wonder, what if, while you were busy looking ahead to forever? You were never my last resort. I just treated you like one. And for that, I'm sorry. I stopped there. What else was there to say? He didn't want my words anymore. Camille said the next step was forgiving myself. But that's the hardest part. Because how do you forgive the version of you that ruined your own life? I keep replaying that conversation, the one he overheard, and asking myself, why? Why did I say those things? Was it pride, ego, insecurity? Maybe all three. Maybe I wanted to feel superior to someone. Even if that someone was my husband, I thought admitting I settled made me seem desirable. Like I could have had better. What a joke. If I could have done better, I would have. Eric was better. I just didn't realize it until it was too late. I moved into a studio apartment 3 months after the annulment. Small, cold, and lonely. I decorated it with plants I forget to water and pictures I don't look at. No wedding photos, of course. Those were deleted, burned, and buried like a dirty secret. But part of me wishes I'd kept one. Just one picture to remind me of the moment I had something real, before I threw it away chasing a fantasy that never existed. I saw him once, 6 months after everything, at a grocery store, of all places. Life has no sense of timing. I was in sweatpants and no makeup, holding a frozen pizza and almond milk. He looked good, healthier, happier, alive. He didn't see me. Or maybe he did and pretended not to. Either way, I stood there behind a shelf of canned beans and watched him for a few seconds. Watched the way he smiled at the cashier, the way he laughed. It wasn't the same laugh he used to give me. It was lighter, freer. He moved on. And I'm still here, still piecing together the parts of me I never knew were broken, still figuring out who I am without the need for male validation, still trying to live with the knowledge that I had a good man, and I wasn't good to him. Sometimes Leah asks if I'd take him back if he showed up tomorrow. I always say no, not because I wouldn't want him, but because I don't deserve him. And I know now, really know, that love isn't about deserving. It's about doing. I didn't do the work. He did. And now someone else will get to benefit from the man I didn't appreciate. And I'll sit with that every day. They say the hardest lessons come wrapped in silence. And they were right. It's been nearly a year now since that phone call, the one that exposed the truth I tried so hard to ignore, the one that shattered my marriage and stripped away every illusion I had about who I was and what I deserved. In that time, I've learned more about myself than I ever wanted to, and the most painful truth, I never really knew how to love anyone, because I never knew how to love me. I've stopped chasing people. I used to see relationships as validation. Like if someone loved me, I mattered. If someone desired me, I was worthy. I jumped through hoops, twist myself into knots, just to be chosen. Eric ruined that for me, in the best way. Because he loved me when I wasn't performing, when I wasn't trying to be the prize, when I was just me, messy, insecure, selfish at times. He saw me, and I ran from it. Because deep down, I didn't believe I deserved it. And instead of doing the work to become the woman worthy of that love, I burned it all down and told myself I could do better. Spoiler alert, I couldn't. I kept the ring, not because I'm still holding on, but because I need the reminder. I keep it in a drawer in my nightstand, tucked between old journals and burned out candles. Every now and then, I take it out, hold it in my palm, let the weight of it settle into my skin. It's not heavy, but the meaning is. That ring was a symbol of a future I never fully committed to, a love I never honored, a man I never truly valued, until he walked away. It reminds me of what I lost, and what I'll never take for granted again. I heard from a friend that Eric's seeing someone new. She's a nurse, sweet, smart, quiet, not flashy, not the type who posts bikini selfies for likes, or talks about settling behind closed doors. She looks at him like he's everything. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to hate them. But I couldn't. Because for once, I saw it clearly. He deserves this. He deserves someone who meets his love with equal force. Someone who doesn't make him question his worth. Someone who chooses him without hesitation. And she's not the one who has to learn the hard way. I am. I bumped into him again. Different setting, different vibe. It was a bookstore downtown. I was there for a journaling workshop Camille recommended. He was just browsing, holding a copy of The Alchemist. Of course he was. He saw me this time. We locked eyes. He smiled, polite, warm, distant. Hi, Alana. Just hearing my name and his voice again cracked something open. Hi. We stood there for a second. Two people who once promised forever. Now just awkward exes trying to navigate a casual hello. You look good, he said. I almost laughed. I looked like hell. No makeup, hair in a claw clip, oversized hoodie and leggings. But I guess there was something in my face that had changed. A softness. A kind of quietness that wasn't there before. Thanks, I said. So do you. And he did. God, he did. Not just physically. He looked peaceful. We made small talk. I told him I was in therapy, working on myself, trying to be better. He nodded, encouraged me. But he never hinted at anything more, and I didn't ask for it, because this time, I knew better. We parted ways like strangers, and when I got outside, I cried, not because I wanted him back, not because I thought he'd change his mind, but because I realized I was finally becoming the woman he always wanted me to be. Too late. And that's the thing about life. Sometimes the lesson doesn't come with a second chance. Sometimes the lesson is the loss. So what now? I don't know. I'm not rushing to find someone new. I'm not hunting for a replacement, trying to fill the hole I created. I'm just learning how to live with myself, learning how to be alone without being lonely, learning how to own my mistakes without letting them define me. First journal. I walk. I work double shifts. I listen more than I talk. I go days without posting online. I'm building something slowly, piece by piece, not for a man, not for validation, but for me. Because the next time I give someone my love, it won't be from a place of lack. It won't be half-hearted. It won't be a consolation prize. It'll be real. Eric taught me that. He'll never know it, but he changed my life. Not just by loving me, but by leaving me when I didn't love him back. That kind of lesson, you only learn it once, and if you're lucky, you never forget it.